Stronger winds, but winds will be lighter through eastern parts of the UK during the day, with plenty of sunny spells. Not too bad at all, but further west the weather deteriorates once more. The next Atlantic frontal system moving in, bringing wet and windy weather by the afternoon, particularly for Northern Ireland, Wales and the southwest. Strengthening winds, coastal gales, and that sweeps through overnight. Again, replaced by plenty of showers and gusty winds, particularly around southern and southwestern coasts. These showers will be heavy and prolonged in places. A very unsettled outlook for the start of the weekend. It doesn't get much better. For Sunday, another band of rain moves through, once again replaced by showers, and low pressure remains in charge for the start of next week.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
It's the big one. Your chance to win a whopping £85,000 in tax-free cash. The largest cash prize we've given away to date. That's like over £7,000 a month extra in your bank account each month for 12 whole months. That's a year of yes. Yes to holidays, yes to treats, yes to shopping trips, yes to home improvements. For a chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
Practice Trump made a good start. No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints. How many fingers have I got up?
About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power?
Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber.
Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics.
We'll see where this ruling takes us.
These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
We love Great Britain. We love its history, its culture and its tradition, and that's why we're so proud to be part of GB News.
You look genuinely emotional. Oh, come here.
GB News does pay attention to those who are ignored by the mainstream media. The majority of this country whose forefathers fought and died to maintain liberty, to fight for freedom of speech.
The rule of law, the rights of property and democracy. This is the heritage that our country should be so proud of.
Which of course includes our Christian heritage. There's been a huge resurgence in the number of people going to church. Perhaps they're not finding what they're looking for, and they're looking for something a bit deeper, a bit more truthful, a bit more akin to Britain's Christian heritage.
That's right, get ready, because the most exciting night in general election history starts now! It's 9 p.m. Hello and welcome to a very special Patrick Christys Tonight.
Labour are out. None of my friends are voting Labour.
This is where the Labour Party was founded by the man who shares the same name as our Prime Minister. It was Keir Hardie. We've got Keir Starmer. This is Labour's safest area.
£22 billion black hole. A black hole left to me. £22 billion black hole. He promised that he would stop the boats this year.
I think the way to stop the boats is to smash the criminal gangs.
The people of Merthyr Tydfil have voted for Labour for 100 years.
It's been a Labour stronghold, and I think we've let the people down. You know, I think they've left the people down badly.
But now they are tipped to switch to reform.
The hierarchy in the Labour place lied to us all, and I think that is totally unacceptable.
But there's still some fight in the old Labour dog yet.
I don't want to figure it out. I want somebody who's steady, straightforward, and I think Keir Starmer's that man, but he doesn't come across as a big figure. He's just a nice guy. He's a typical family man.
I've been spending all day here with these wonderful people. At this fantastic Penny Darren Social Club. I've got a huge amount lined up for you, but the real stars of the show as well are this wonderful choir. So, get ready, Britain. Here we go.
Yes, and I'm here in the studio holding down the fort here in London, also joined by Reform candidate for Epping Forest, Orla Minahane, and the former Labour advisor, Matthew Larzer. It's me in London, Patrick in Wales. You're in front of the telly. Let's go.
Get ready for an absolute showstopper. Next.
Thank you. The top stories this evening. The Conservatives are vowing to fight the government's decision to delay new mayoral elections every step of the way. The votes, originally due next May in Essex, Norfolk and Suffolk, Hampshire and the Solent, and Sussex and Brighton, have been pushed back to 2028. The government says local reorganisation isn't ready and the new regions must be set up properly to deliver the powers they've been promised. But opposition leader Kemi Badenoch calls it an attack on democracy, accusing Labour of stalling because it fears the result.
This is yet another example of Labour not being ready for government. This reorganisation is taking too long. I've been a local government minister and there have been situations where you needed to postpone a year. So we'll have an extra year just so that we can be ready. This is now out of control. They need to have these elections. They should not be denying people democracy.
Nigel Farage says Reform UK would have won every mayoral election that Labour has delayed for 2 years.
Then there is, of course, one very big reason why these elections should not go ahead, and there's no prizes for guessing, but it is an electoral calculus put out their figures just a couple of hours ago that Reform would have won all 4 of these contests and would have won them quite comfortably.
Elsewhere, the Prime Minister says the public inquiry into the death of Dawn Sturgis is clear that the moral responsibility lies with President Putin and provides further evidence of the shocking and reckless hostile activity on UK soil. The report today found the operation to poison double agent Sergei Skripal in Salisbury was authorised at the highest level. Russian military intelligence agents acted on direct instructions before recklessly discarding the perfume bottle that ultimately later killed Miss Sturgis. Investigators say her condition was unsurvivable after she unwittingly sprayed herself with the Novichok from the perfume bottle left by the Russian hit squad. Sir Keir Starmer said earlier the inquiry shows the UK must remain vigilant to Russian threats.
It's very important that we put in the most stringent sanctions on the GRU for the first time, but it also reinforces why we need to remain vigilant to the ever-present threat that is there from Putin and from Russia. That's not just in Ukraine. In this case, the report is clear, it's on our soil. And here I am at Lossiemouth, where we've been discussing with personnel the work that they are doing to keep us safe from Russian threats, particularly in our waters.
And several countries have pulled out of next year's Eurovision Song Contest after Israel's participation was confirmed. Ireland, the Netherlands, Spain and Slovenia have announced they will boycott the competition after the General Assembly in Geneva today discussed the future of the competition. Irish national broadcaster RTE said it will not broadcast or take part in the Song Contest, describing its participation as unconscionable given the appalling loss of lives in Gaza. Campaign groups have welcomed the decision by the broadcaster to withdraw. In a statement, the EBU said members had shown clear support for reforms to reinforce trust and protect neutrality. And those are the latest headlines for now. More from me in an hour.
You can now watch GB News live across the United States of America and the world on Truth Plus. Scan the QR code to find out more or visit gbnews.com/truth.
Yes, hello and welcome to the Pendarren Social Club here, surrounded by huge amounts of wonderful people. Hello, everybody. Well done. Thank you very much. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Now, there's a reason why we are here, because this is in Merthyr Tydfil, which has been Labour for more than 100 years. In fact, Labour's first ever MP in Wales, Keir Hardie, the man who founded the Labour Party, this was his seat. It's also the man that our current Prime Minister is named after, for what it's worth as well. So, the problem for Labour, of course, is that there's an 82% chance that this is going to go reform at the next general election as things stand. Let's not underestimate Plaid Cymru as well, so we need to keep an eye on them. Over the course of this show, I've got clips for you. I'll be spending all day here talking to farmers, business owners, factory workers, you name it. We've done the lot, but let's get stuck right in with these wonderful people here. We've also got a choir for you as well. So I've got Les Morris. Les, how are you?
Fine.
Good stuff. And I've also got John Haggerty, who is the secretary and has been of this wonderful club for 20 years.
Thank you.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks for having us. So, before we get to all of these clips, what I wanted to do was find out from you why you think this area is changing politically. Why are people leaving Labour?
OK, Labour has left Wales. It's left it to its own devices. We've got... they haven't enhanced our lives at all. In fact, they've done the opposite. We've got 20 miles an hour speed limit. We've got the highest prices in supermarkets.
Yep.
Rubbish everywhere. Roads not fixed.
OK, so there's a lot going on there. I think there's someone's phone. He might be buzzing there. If we could just turn that off quickly, but there we go. What would you say? Why do you think people are leaving Labour? Very traditional. I mean, it doesn't get more of a traditional Labour area than this. So why are they leaving and going to somewhere else?
Well, like I said to you this morning, I truly believe the Labour Party, the biggest mistake they made was the first announcement of cutting winter fuel bills. That took away 50–60% of the Labour vote, because I believe most of the Labour votes are of people over the age of 50 and 60. The damage they've done is, it will never be repaired now, because obviously the next general election, the opposition, whether it be Conservative, Reform, whoever, that's the first thing that will come up on your televisions.
Well, now, that's interesting you should say that, because we actually have a couple of clips that I would like to throw to. And one of them is just of a collection of all of the top topics that have come up in my time here in Merthyr Tydfil so far. So let's play that.
I don't want to cut the winter fuel allowance.
No Prime Minister wants to do what we have to do in relation to the winter fuel allowance.
9 million pensioners will now receive the winter fuel payment.
He promised that he would stop the boats this year.
I think the way to stop the boats is to smash the criminal gangs.
Money in the pockets of working people. More money in the pockets of working people.
Well, there you go. They said they'd put more money in the pockets of working people. They'd smash the gangs. They obviously hammered pensioners when it came to the winter fuel allowance as well. How do you feel as though Labour has treated working people, do you think? We've obviously just had the budget, higher taxes.
Well, nothing. You know, they've given us nothing. They've frozen the tax allowance, which means we're all going to pay more. You have a pay rise, you pay more. All right, you'll have a pay rise, but you will not get any tax relief on your pay.
Yeah. Yeah, well, there is absolutely that. Obviously, people's energy bills are going up as well. Now, you owned a fish and chip shop, didn't you? And a couple of ice cream vans as well. What would you think it would be like for people in this area? Because one of the things we're going to talk about later on is the loss of industry. So the Hoover factory's gone. There used to be 5,000 people that worked there. All of the pits have closed. The last pit closed in 2023. That gave a lot of people a lot of work and a lot of pride as well in what they were doing. What do you think it would be like for you if you were to start a business in this area now under this government?
It will be impossible. There's no incentive now for entrepreneurs to invest, not only in the valleys, but I think even in the cities. We've only got to look at the hospitality industry within the cities that are closing down now. To try and introduce a new business into a place like Merthyr, and not only Merthyr, any other valley town, the red tape and the nonsense with the Welsh office and the Senedd is just totally unbelievable. It's unbelievable. They don't. It's like they put a barrier up. They don't want to encourage, and this is my own feeling. They don't want to encourage people to invest in the valleys. You know?
Okay. Well, because one of the main reasons we're here, obviously, is this latest polling. What a fascinating case study it's going to be, and Wales is going to play a vital role at the next election. In fact, many people think that Wales as a whole could actually decide the next election. There is another clip for you now of the man that many people think is going to replace Sir Keir Starmer. The polling here would suggest that his party is actually going to overtake Labour. Let's play that clip.
Now, they, of course, right now are absolutely terrified of reform. And if you think the Conservatives had a bad day on May the 1st, arguably, Labour did even worse. We completely wiped them out. This government is off to the worst start of any government since Eden and the Suez Crisis in 1956. They are collapsing in terms of support. Their response to us is just to turn on the Labour lie machine.
Well, that man is Nigel Farage. And what I want to find out is why people here in Wales, in Merthyr, might vote for him. So, who here is thinking that they might actually vote for Nigel's party next election? A few hands up here. I'll come and sit down next to you, sir. From your perspective, then, why Nigel Farage and not, say, Plaid? Because, you know, from an outsider to Wales, as I am, I'm from England, obviously. You know, I would look at Plaid and go, well, they're very Welsh, aren't they? Nigel's not Welsh, so why would he vote for him?
Well, I think the one thing is Nigel's new. He's trusted. He's dynamic. He knows about business. He knows about people. People like him. People want to follow him. This country needs business. This country needs entrepreneurs. This country's got so much talent, so much drive. Merthyr Tydfil was the worst infected area in COVID in Europe, and we bounced back. We came first in business, we came first working with communities, and we came first in going under budget. We can go under budget. I was in the council then, and I was working in the council. So Nigel's dynamic. He's somebody we trust. You can believe in what he says. If he says something, he'll do it, and that's what we want. We've had too many promises. Everybody's promised stuff. Nothing goes uphill from Cardiff. Nothing comes to us. Low education.
Do you feel forgotten? See, this is one of the reasons, again, why we wanted to come here, because I don't mean any disrespect at all. I think a lot of the establishment media overlook places like this. And do you feel forgotten generally by mainstream politics as well?
We're forgotten by their choice. There's no work ethic with them. They look after themselves, they don't look after the people. They don't go out speaking to the people. Only at election time do they speak to them. Everybody will know our people, these people. We're reformers. They'll know us because we're part of our community. We're proud of our community. All we want is a little help. Like the gentleman said about taxing. If you go up a couple of £1,000, you're killed. If you're operating that 40 to 60k environment, what's the worth in doing work? And there's people staying in the houses and getting 70,000 in PIP. You know, what's the worth?
Who here has voted Labour? People have voted Labour in the past, I think, haven't they? You voted Labour in the past. Right, come on, sir. So I'm going to work my way over to you now. I want to know why you feel as though you're not going to vote for them this time.
Well, I grew up, fought in Labour. You know, Dad was in the steelworks. This is how we all grew up, really. And then one day, drove out to my brother's house. He lived in a sort of a more select area in Merth Tydfil and up in Pant. And I could see all these UKIP posters everywhere, and I was mortified. And I said, gosh, what's going on here? My brother said, oh, this is a party's to do with leaving the European Union. So I said, what's that mean? And he said, well, we can't make our own laws if we're in the European Union. And I said, well, that makes sense, doesn't it? Started looking into it, I had sort of a journey, really, like a lot of people in the valleys. Okay. And got really watching Nigel Farage and on his European talks. And, well, I just watched most of them. I thought, this man's standing up for our country, you know. When I first heard him, I thought he was a rude person. Can I ask you one question, and then I'm going to throw it back to the studio? And by the way, if you can hear some noise in the background, look, this is obviously a social club. The football's on, the pool's being played, the darts are on as well. It's a cracking place. There is a bit of atmosphere, but... do you feel as though the politicians that we've had so far haven't really necessarily put Britain first? Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And this is what Nigel has been on about, isn't it, for many, many years, to try and get us out of the European Union so that we can have our own country back, make our own laws. They're not dictated to by Europe, which a lot of people still don't get. You know, they think, oh, we had funding, but it was our money in the first place. And when you start looking into things, you know, it's all been taken away from us. We go back to the 70s, back to the days of Edward Heath, when he took us into there. He actually admitted in his book that he lied to the electorate that we were going to lose our sovereignty. We weren't going to lose our sovereignty, but we actually were. All right. Well, look, thank you very, very much. So we've got a bit of a scene setter here. You can see the kind of mood in the area, and look, it's actually pretty in line with the latest polling data, isn't it? Like I've said, loads of clips coming your way. Had a fantastic day here in Merthyr. Spoke to farmers, spoke to business owners, went out and about, and we've got that fabulous Welsh choir for you. I'm going to throw back to the studio now, where no doubt they're going to be dissecting what they're seeing and hearing here from Merthyr.
Yeah, brilliant stuff, Patrick. Thanks for giving us that really interesting interview with those gentlemen there. I'm joined by my panel tonight, candidate for Reform in Epping Forest, Orla Minahane, and former Labour advisor Matthew Larser. Matthew, look, I'll start with you because, look, the polls are quite clear. The latest YouGov poll I can find here between the 4th and 10th of September puts Reform on 29 points, Plaid on 23, Labour in third place on 18 points. When you're listening to those gentlemen there, they're saying they feel forgotten. They feel like business doesn't matter anymore. They're stuck in this red tape that Labour have sort of taken them for granted, that they thought they just had Wales forever. Is there truth behind what they're saying?
Well, look, clearly the polls are showing a very difficult situation for Labour in Wales, as they are for Labour across the country. You know, Labour and Welsh Labour's got a lot of work to do. It's been in power since devolution was established at the end of the 90s, and that's you know, that's a long time in government, and there's always a kickback. But I am disappointed to hear anybody who's voted Labour all their life in an area like Merthyr, which is, you know, hardwired into the Labour soul, as Patrick was saying there.
It's the heart of the
Absolutely.
Labour Party.
You know, and you know, and I think that, yes, I'm going to be frank, if you were there 10, 15, 20 years ago, not all of them, I got the sound that one or two of those chaps might not have ever voted Labour. I think that the guy talking about Europe, obviously that was his number one issue. But, you know, that isn't perfect. I would just say a couple of points to what they said directly. Merthyr is one of the places in the country that will benefit most from the lifting of the two-child benefit cap. So 2,590 families in Merthyr and Aberdare, which is the constituency that covers Merthyr, will benefit from the lifting of the two-child benefit cap. It is one of the poorest places in Britain. It has seen a lot of investment. The whole of South Wales, for example, is getting a brand new metro system to take the old valley lines that were decrepit up to connect the valleys and connect them to Cardiff, which has been, it's going to make it easier to work in Cardiff, which is a real jobs boost. So there are lots of good things happening. Is there a job of work to be done for Welsh Labour and indeed Labour across the country? Then yes, of course there is.
Yeah, and, well, you say a lot of work to be done, or is it just too little too late? I mean, Labour's only been in office nationally for, what, 18 months. In Wales, they've been in power for goodness knows
quarter of a century.
Yeah, quarter of a century. At the point you think you've been in office for a quarter of a century, shouldn't things be absolutely fantastic in Wales by now if Labour was really good at what it does? And unfortunately, the polls across the country, not just in Wales, across the country, show Nigel Farage is going to, if it was an election held tomorrow, he'd sweep the field.
Yeah, these people, you know, this replicates very much what's happening across the country. You know, we're in London, we're sitting here, people are in different cities across, but, you know, Middle England, Wales, the valleys, as he's referred to, places in more remote places have been forgotten. You know, and what happens is there are no opportunities for young people. So the young people finish school and they leave. So therefore you're left with an older generation. The older generation aren't seeing anything that, you know, that they voted for, any kind of benefit or bonus for them, so they just feel that they're just being left there to just rot, basically. And then, you know, they're talking about their energy bills, etc. There's no infrastructure for them. And the guy's saying about, you know, entrepreneurs, we need entrepreneurs, we need business. That's not going to happen in places, you know, in Wales. Like these guys are they're sitting there thinking, all our young people are leaving, there's no opportunity.
This is it. This is what he was saying. He says there's no reason to invest. And of course, we're going to be hearing more from those people in Wales with Patrick this evening throughout the show. And it's not just Labour, by the way. The Tories are also polling in 4th place. And there's obviously an establishment issue, isn't there? But it's time now for a brand new Great British giveaway. And it's your chance to win our biggest cash prize today. Here's all the details.
It's the big one. Your chance to win a whopping £85,000 in tax-free cash. The largest cash prize we've given away to date. That's like over £7,000 a month extra in your bank account each month for 12 whole months. That's a year of yes. Yes to holidays, yes to treats, yes to shopping trips, yes to home improvements. What would you say yes to? For a chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. The winner may be contacted live on GB News, week commencing the 9th of February 2026. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Look, this is what GB News is all about, coming out and about, getting into the beating heart of communities like the Social Club here in Merthyr Tydfil. Maybe if politicians came to more places like this, they'd have a better clue about what real people really thought. But here is the Pontypridd Male Choir for their first performance of many this evening. Enjoy.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the GB newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
We're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
Join me, Nana Okoye, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dan.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Yeah, welcome back to Merthyr Tydfil, which is actually, remarkably, going to be the epicentre, probably, of a political earthquake at the next general election. Complete Labour stronghold, has been for more than 100 years, tipped to go reform. Plaid might have a go on it as well, but what's one of the biggest issues that are facing people here in this rural community? It is, of course, farming. So I went and I got my feet covered in manure earlier today. Here's what happened. I'm here at Huntley Farm in Pontypridd and I am joined by Rob. Rob, let's get stuck straight into it. What impact has this Labour government had on the farming community?
Well, a big impact is inheritance tax, isn't it? And they brought it in. They promised that they wouldn't bring it in. We had leading politicians sat around our table and they said, no, they will not touch inheritance tax. 3 months down the line, bang. And it's like they're giving nobody no time to adjust to it, especially the old and the terminally ill. But they haven't got time to change their farming system, have they? No. And it's like Sir Thomas, young farmer coming through. They must be worried. Do they want to bother? This could cost them £1 million. And myself, I got 2 sons. If I died after April, it would probably cost them in excess of £1 million. That's over £100,000 a year to find.
Yeah.
Our farm doesn't make £100,000. So.
Right.
But I think the most disappointing thing was like the Labour MPs were told that they're not going to bring inheritance tax in. They won rural seats by telling lies. I'm not blaming the Labour MPs, but the hierarchy in the Labour place lied to us all. And I think that is totally unacceptable.
You were saying to me that there's something that I think has got underreported, which is that they're including things like the value of these cows.
Yeah, the APR, like the land and all would be valued. Then they decided now to bring the APR in, which would be the total value of your stock, the machinery. So a medium to small size farm would be over 300,000. So you're a third of the way to £1 million, which is your allowance at the moment, isn't it?
Right.
Like they have altered it a little bit for partners, haven't they? But I think that's just a drop in the ocean. It's not nowhere near enough. They really need to move on this and scrap it all together, really. But when you have like a small, medium-sized farm, £300,000 in stock and machinery is not a lot. It's a lot of money, don't get me wrong. But you need stock to run a farm and you need machinery. You also need land. So it all's combined and it makes it very difficult for people to carry on without selling little bits of ground. And once you start selling, you're not as viable as a business as you was to start.
Right, so the culmination of that is what? It puts people out of business?
Well, it will put some people out of business, won't it? And people can't just go and find £100,000 a year. Or even £30,000 a year. It's an awful lot of money, isn't it?
It's not just the livestock that's costing farmers money when it comes to Labour's harebrained tax policy. It's also machinery, which, of course, you need to actually run a farm. Rob, do you just want to explain to our viewers and listeners exactly the issues when it comes to the amount of machinery that you've got and tax?
You know, this is just a load all. One of these new would be £70,000 to £80,000, which is quite... And there's a baler behind us. They'd be up £40,000, £50,000 brand new. Then you've got to have a wrapper to go behind it as well, which is £20,000. Or you buy a Fusion, which is £100,000.
Let's have a look at it as well while you're talking. Go on,
and then, like I said earlier, you soon get up to the £1 million allowance very quickly. This is just... We've got 3 bits of equipment here. There's not a tractor in here. They're 100,000 now, or 50,000 second-hand. I think it's huge, isn't it, how fast. But you've got to have machinery. You've got to have livestock, and you need land to farm. So they're free, but they've lumped them all in, and I think it's made a bad job even worse.
So something like this that we're looking at here, how much are we talking, roughly?
Them new would be anything from 45 to 50,000. That's 25,000 there, like.
Right.
There's a wrapper behind it then.
And they add that to the value of your farm. So
Yeah.
obviously we hope this never happens, but if you were to pass away and this was to go on to one of your relatives or whatever, the value of the machinery and the value of all those cattle that we have just seen in there will be added to the overall value of this farm before you factored in land and the actual property.
Yeah.
So bingo, you're over that threshold quite quickly.
Yeah, quite quickly, yes. Small to medium-sized farm really hits that threshold. And we have like 1,000 ewes is £100 a piece, is 100,000, isn't it?
Yeah, there you go.
Cattle there, little baby calves are now £500. So I think it's just really is worrying, and I do feel for the older generation who haven't got time, like I said earlier, to put things in place. Like I'm 58, I'm not young in any means. I've got a 20-year-old son and a 12-year-old son. I hope we don't really... I think governments have said they will change it if we get a new government in time.
Both the Tories and Reform have promised to change it.
But some people are going to be caught out in between, which will be very sad, won't it?
Yeah.
And they've worked all their lives to build a farm up. Take myself, we put 2 chicken sheds up, and they've added £2 million to the farm. But we did that to future-proof the business, which we've always been told to do by governments as we go on, isn't it? To future-proof the business for my children to come into farming, to keep them in the rural community. To be fair, like, the government have got some things right. They have started spending money now on the armed forces, which would have been left behind, innit? But I think we need farmers as well. We need to feed and protect our country, don't we? It's just 2 big things now. Yeah. And I'm afraid, like, an army marches on his stomach. So I think the agricultural side is as important as the army, and the government definitely needs to back both at the moment.
Good stuff, mate. Legend. Thank you very much. All right.
Well, there you have it. Farmers up and down the country, particularly in Wales, really relies on that farmland, doesn't it? Getting hammered by the government. Well, let's talk about this with my panel, Orla Minahane, the Reform candidate in Epping Forest, and former Labour advisor Matthew Laza. Matthew, I want to put this to you because this stood out to me. The gentleman there was saying they won. He's talking about Labour. They won basically by telling lies. What do you make of that? Because of course, you know, inheritance tax on farmers wasn't in the manifesto, was it? Should they just be honest about that and said they were going to do it all along?
No, it wasn't in the manifesto. Maybe it should have been. I mean, I think we just need to look at the facts on inheritance tax. Everybody who runs a small business in this country over a certain value will end up paying inheritance tax on it. And for most small businesses, so if you're running a small business in agriculture, absolutely vital sector. Everything I say is precursored by the fact that I don't get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to milk cows or tend to other livestock. So, you know, before people reach for the your say button and make that point, let me make it myself. But, you know, farming, Britain has been the only country in the world that doesn't impose any inheritance tax on farms. What this does is it's actually not a family farm tax, it's a large landowner tax. What it does is it treats rather more generously than if you've got a business in any other sector, because it gives you up to £1 million, and then after that you will be have a lower rate of inheritance tax at 20%. The chap there said about, you know, about being able to hand on to your partner. That's actually a big change that was made in the budget. A lot of the farmers were calling for that, and that is, I think, a sensible change that Rachel Reeves made. So I think on balance, I can understand it's obviously difficult. People have got to change the way the inheritance tax plan. But when the chap there said, I put a chicken shed up, I thought, well, I'm not quite sure. My first instinct was not quite sure it was going to put you over the threshold, and then he went, It cost me £2 million. That's quite a big business if you're investing in £2 million, which is great, but I think you should pay his fair share.
Well, Orla, listen, I'd love to get your thoughts on this very briefly, but I'm going to throw it back to Patrick first. Patrick, back to you in Wales.
Yeah, we're having a fantastic time here at the Pen Darren Social Club. Very shortly, I'm going to be trying to take this man on at darts. I think he's on for a 180 here. Is he? No, not quite. There you go. I think I can beat him. But let's hear a little bit more from the Pontypridd Male Choir.
O Be nice to escape the grey.
Clear skies, here we come.
As clear as our travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Heavy rain and strong winds across the eastern end of the Mediterranean, bringing some pretty heavy downpours across parts of Greece in particular during Friday, but also southern parts of Turkey with those gusty winds. Showers again for southern Italy, particularly for Sardinia and Sicily. The east coast of Spain and the Balearics looking largely dry and fine on Friday. And plenty of sunshine across the Canaries. That will continue as we head through the weekend, and things should calm down in Greece during the weekend as well.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello again and welcome to the latest update from the Met Office for GB News. Rain clearing during the next 24 hours. Showers still remaining in some western areas, but clear spells for many. And under those clear skies, patches of frost and fog will form overnight. We're in a gap between weather systems. This weather front turning up later in the day on Friday will bring some wet weather, and Thursday's wet weather is clearing into the far northeast of the UK, the rain turning more showery. That means in between, clear spells overnight, and under those clear skies with light winds in places, we will see some frost and fog, particularly through parts of the Midlands and southeast England. Those fog patches slow to clear through the morning on Friday, could be tricky on the roads first thing. There'll be showers continuing in the west. That means generally frost-free in the west first thing, but elsewhere, decent sunny spells away from those dense freezing fog patches around the southeast of England. Into the northwest of England, and we've got showers and patchy cloud. Likewise across Scotland, a thicker area of cloud covering much of Aberdeenshire into parts of Caithness, for example, with plenty of showery rain associated with this. That is accompanied by stronger winds, but winds will be lighter through eastern parts of the UK during the day, with plenty of sunny spells. Not too bad at all, but further west, the weather deteriorates once more. The next Atlantic frontal system moving in, bringing wet and windy weather by the afternoon, particularly for Northern Ireland, Wales and the southwest. Strengthening winds, coastal gales, and that sweeps through overnight. Again, replaced by plenty of showers and gusty winds, particularly around southern and southwestern coasts. These showers will be heavy and prolonged in places. A very unsettled outlook for the start of the weekend. It doesn't get much better. For Sunday, another band of rain moves through, once again replaced by showers, and low pressure remains in charge for the start of next week.
In the GB newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Well, the darts are being thrown, pool's being played, there's a little bit of football on the telly, the pints are flowing nicely. It's really... He's done it! He's done it! Zoom in on this, sorry. He's actually done it. Well done. All right, good stuff. So, look, we're obviously spending the day here in Merthyr Tydfil because we're on the brink of a political revolution. Labour for 100 years, as you now know, set to go reform. People feel let down, they feel marginalised, they feel as though they've been forgotten, but this is a very tribal area, and there are some people who are planning to still vote Labour no matter what. If in doubt, always come to a Wetherspoons when you're looking to find people to talk to. Gareth has very kindly let me interrupt his breakfast so that I could ask him a few questions about how he thinks it's getting on in this local area politically. Gareth, thank you very much, mate. Absolute pleasure to meet you. So, you are a Labour voter, aren't you? A Labour man.
Well, I'm a Labour man. I don't vote on occasions, depending on how the party's doing, but I won't vote anybody else other than Labour.
Right, OK, so how do you think they're doing at the moment? Because obviously they're getting quite a lot of stick.
I think they're doing quite good, but they're not showing it in... they don't speak enough about what they do, basically. I think they got good values, they're Labour values through and through, but I don't think the people understand what's going on, because I don't think they portray themselves well when they're on television, or where they haven't got the right people to portray what they're doing. I don't know the words for it, really. But
well, is that a problem of leadership, do you think? Because one of the senses that I'm getting here is that, look, you know, working class area, traditional Labour heartland, and maybe Keir Starmer doesn't quite represent that.
No, I don't think so. Keir Starmer, I think, is a genuine, good person. I think he's a socialist at heart. I don't think he portrays himself well enough. He's not. We've had all these big figures. You know, we've had the Conservative Party put up the puppets, if you like. I don't think those people are real. They're rich people. They're not from places like Merthyr. Merthyr is steeped in history. It's the origin of the Labour movement. I think people now are being conned by the press. People, nothing against you.
All right, don't worry.
No, but I think they want figureheads, and I don't want a figurehead. I want somebody who's steady, straightforward, and I think Keir Starmer's that man. But he doesn't come across as a big figure. He's just a nice guy. He's a typical family man. But I think the press ridicule him, and they're after him, basically. They're after get him out. But when you look at the alternatives, do you want another Boris Johnson?
Well, let me ask you about the alternatives. Let me ask you about the alternatives, because the latest polling, you're not going to like this, right? They might put you off your breakfast.
I know the polling is.
God, right.
No, I know it's
but it looks like it could be reformed.
And Plaid, yeah. Plaid Cymru is a Welsh party. I don't think they've got enough pull to make a change, make a difference. I'm not convinced by Plaid and what they. I do like their leader. I think he's a good guy. I think he's a good guy. But it's not about leaders. It's about what your party stands for. Okay. The Labour Party stands for working class people. It still does. I don't care what anybody says. They are. You look at the Conservative Party, they're for the rich. It's always been the case, and it'll always remain the case.
Can you just tell me, I don't want to put you on the spot too much, because you've been really kind just coming out, and I'll let you go back in a second, but what has this Labour government done for working people?
What's it done for Labour?
This Labour government, this current one, Keir Starmer, go on.
Well, it's just improve things for children. You know, they remove the child cap. Yep. I'm not 100% with that, mind, because I think it's a costly. I'm with it if we can afford it. I don't think the money's there. Yeah. So I think they've been forced into it by the backbenchers of the Labour Party. I think they should take a steer from the lead and the Chancellor. They are doing their best. They've inherited a dreadful state in the economy, and they are trying to work through it. We've had 2 wars, which is costing the country. They've got to. It's like managing. They don't overspend. You've got to manage what you've got, and they are trying their best to manage it. But at the same time, it's not popular. This is why the polls are like they are. Give the man a chance. Give the woman a chance. They've only just got into power, you know, and they've inherited a mess from the Conservatives. Let's be honest. The country's in this mess through the Conservatives, not through the Labour Party, and the Labour Party got to be given a chance.
All right. Thank you for your time. I tell you what. Very glad to have met you. I'll let you go back. Your breakfast's going cold now. Sorry, mate. All right, take care. See you in a bit. Well, there you go. Now I've moved over away from the darts board, and I'm joined by Merrin, who is the musical director of the Pontypridd Male Choir, or to give it its proper name,
Call Me Beyond Pontypridd.
There we are. Okay. So, Merrin, for me, anyway, the male choir is synonymous with Wales. It's a huge part of Welsh culture. Yeah. Why is it so important?
Tradition. It comes from the mining. And the mines, all the steel works and things like that. When people got together to have camaraderie in a break from the routine of work, really. Yeah. So we carry on that tradition, hopefully, and we enjoy the singing.
Well, you're very good at it. Our viewers are absolutely loving it, and our listeners are as well.
Try our best.
Thank you so much for everything. And yeah, it's important, I think, to defend traditions, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, because it's lost. otherwise, so we have to retain that. And it's dedication and it's focus from people, and that's really important.
And it takes a huge amount of work, and it's incredibly skilled. I mean, you absolutely would not let me in your choir, I'm afraid. There's a gentleman here. So you are, how old are you, do you mind me asking?
I'm 19.
Right, and you are a prominent member of the choir. So what made you want to get into it? Was it just in your blood?
Well, singing was always a major part of my life, but it was a school teacher that suggested, because of my love of singing, that I should just go along and join a choir. And that's what I did, and I absolutely love it because of it's almost like a second family. The companionship of the choir is really, really good for both mental health and physical health, because it gets you out and about and it keeps your mind active.
Well, can I just say, it has been a real joy to meet you all and to listen to you, and we're going to be hearing a lot more from the choir throughout the course of the show. So thank you very, very much. It's been a real joy, actually. When we come back, we're going to be hearing a little bit more from how the people of Merthyr Tydfil feel about this Labour Party cancelling elections.
I'm Michelle Dewberry, this is Jubes & Co with you.
Hello everyone, Patrick Christys here on GB News.
Britain's news channel.
Access the stories that matter to you. Take the GB News family with you on any device. And as long as you have an internet connection. Tune in to GB News, anywhere on the planet or beyond. GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it?
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk
No,
now?
that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints. How many fingers have I got up?
About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power?
Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber.
Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics.
We'll see where this ruling takes us.
These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to the Penderyn Social Club. The lads are here. We're having a good crack. So, what do you make of Labour cancelling or delaying some of these elections then?
Obviously, they're not in a strong position. If they were in a strong position, they wouldn't be doing it, would they? I think everything that's coming from all the other parties, well, Labour haven't got a chance of they just drop in out of the sky, basically.
Okay. And let me bring you in, sir, because you're also part of the choir, so thank you for that. Now, I believe that you've been a Labour voter all your life.
Yes.
So, where are you at now?
I stopped voting Labour with Jeremy Corbyn. I couldn't cope with him. I voted for Keir Starmer, but I don't think I'll be voting for Keir Starmer come the next election. And it leaves me feeling very disillusioned and saddened by politics as a whole. I haven't got people to look up to, admire, respect and vote for.
What could Labour do to get your vote?
It's a difficult question. I don't think Labour will get many votes because my opinion of politics is politicians have forgotten about the people they're supposed to be representing, especially Westminster politics. They're all for London and the South East, and they've forgotten the likes of Wales altogether.
Do you want Welsh independence?
I think Wales should be independent, but not Plaid Cymru. Complete independence.
So just total independence?
Total independence. I know people say, oh, we can't afford it, but I think it's worth it giving it a go. Because actually, as I said, Westminster have forgotten about Wales, they've forgotten North England probably. Okay. So it is London-centric, they want London and the South East.
Yeah.
And the Senate is just an arm of Westminster. They got no political power, they got no tax-raising powers, so the Senate is not what it should be. So I think Wales should go for independence.
Well, there you go. I tell you what, I mean, you might have converted me, actually. I've had such a good time here. I might not head back down south. But talking of heading back down south, I'm going to have to go back to our London studios now, see what they make of that. Thanks, lads.
Yeah, brilliant stuff there, Patrick. Brilliant stuff. Yeah, look, I mean, I'll put this straight to you, Matthew, because look, yeah, those cancelled elections has been spoken about in Wales as well. People do want that accountability.
We're not cancelling the Welsh elections.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the Welsh Labour Senate members may wish that they were. In fact, we're introducing a crazy voting system which is designed to not benefit the Labour Party in Wales. It's an idiotic voting system where they're merging constituencies and you can have 6 MPs for big constituencies.
I'll just give you some of the quotes here. You know, I mean, this is an interesting... These quotes and listening, this is really fascinating stuff, isn't it? Westminster's forgot about Wales. A few people there saying they want an independent Wales. Some are saying they don't want it to be Plaid Cymru. They've got no one to look up to anymore. Lifelong Labour voters won't vote thanks to Keir Starmer and Jeremy Corbyn. Isn't it damning indictment on the Labour Party?
Look, I think there has been an issue which really killed the Labour Party in Scotland about whether you send your best and your brightest to London, which kind of happened after a devolution. You know, great people, John Reid, Jim Murphy, all those people at the heart of the Blair cabinets. Some of whom were already in Westminster. Or do people stay and, you know, in the devolved assembly? So I think that can be an issue that maybe we haven't seen over the last 20 years, the inspirational leaders that people may have looked to. But on these cancelled elections, these are elections to things that do not yet exist, and they are not going to exist.
OK.
Until the election happens.
What do you make of it all?
What, the council elections?
Yeah.
I think that, you know, we live in a democracy. It's everybody's right to have the opportunity to vote. Simple. And, you know, I don't think that anybody, any party who's in power should have the ability to take that away, because then you lose everything that we stand for. People pay their council tax. They want to vote in their local elections. They want to be able to put forward the people that they want to lead their individual areas. And if that's taken away, then you're completely taking away their rights. And I think people are furious about that.
Yeah, there is a feeling when you listen to those people there in Wales, just normal people like you and me at home, there's a feeling of disillusionment across the board, isn't there? This feeling that Westminster haven't been listening to you, they're not listening to you, and many people just want some form of change, don't they? Something to reinvigorate this country. We'll be coming back very shortly to Patrick Christys live in Wales, but after that, before that even, let's listen to more of that lovely choir.
Now.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello again and welcome to the latest update from the Met Office for GB News. Rain clearing during the next 24 hours. Showers still remaining in some western areas, but clear spells for many. And under those clear skies, patches of frost and fog will form overnight. We're in a gap between weather systems. This weather front turning up later in the day on Friday will bring some wet weather. And Thursday's wet weather is clearing into the far northeast of the UK, the rain turning more showery. That means in between, clear spells overnight. And under those clear skies with light winds in places, we will see some frost and fog, particularly through parts of the Midlands and southeast England. Those fog patches slow to clear through the morning on Friday, could be tricky on the roads first thing. There'll be showers continuing in the west. That means generally frost-free in the west first thing, but elsewhere, decent sunny spells away from those dense freezing fog patches around the southeast of England. Into the northwest of England, and we've got showers and patchy cloud. Likewise across Scotland, a thicker area of cloud covering much of Aberdeenshire into parts of Caithness, for example, with plenty of showery rain associated with this. That is accompanied by stronger winds, but winds will be lighter through eastern parts of the UK during the day, with plenty of sunny spells. Not too bad at all, but further west, the weather deteriorates once more. The next Atlantic frontal system moving in, bringing wet and windy weather by the afternoon, particularly for Northern Ireland, Wales and the southwest. Strengthening winds, coastal gales, and that sweeps through overnight. Again, replaced by plenty of showers and gusty winds, particularly around southern and southwestern coasts. These showers will be heavy and prolonged in places. A very unsettled outlook for the start of the weekend. It doesn't get much better. For Sunday, another band of rain moves through, once again replaced by showers, and low pressure remains in charge for the start of next week.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
It's the greatest cash prize of the Great British Giveaway so far. A simply stunning £85,000 in tax-free cash to spend on anything you like, making 2026 your greatest year to date. That could get you that brand new car, extend and improve your home, take you away on that bucket list holiday, or just give you some peace of mind over the coming months. For a chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, you didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Dordme, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Cates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m, only on GB News.
It's 10 p.m. Hello and welcome to a very special edition of Patrick Christys Tonight.
Labour are out. None of my friends are voting Labour.
This is where the Labour Party was founded by the man that Keir Starmer is actually named after. This is supposed to be Labour's safest area.
£22 billion black hole. A black hole left to me. £22 billion black hole.
He promised that he would stop the boats this year.
I think the way to stop the boats is to smash the criminal gangs.
The people of Merthyr Tydfil have voted for Labour for more than 100 years, but
it's been a Labour stronghold, and I think they've let the people down. You know, I think they've left the people down badly.
Now they are tipped to go reform.
The hierarchy in the Labour place lied to us all, and I think that is totally unacceptable.
But of course there is still some fight left in the old Labour dog yet.
I don't want to figure it. I want somebody who's steady, straightforward, and I think Keir Starmer's that man, but he doesn't come across as a big figure. He's just a nice guy. He's a typical family man.
I have spent the day at the unlikely epicentre of Britain's political earthquake here in Merthyr Tydfil, specifically this evening at the Penydarren Social Club with these wonderful people as well. Thank you very much everybody who's turned up tonight for a great old chat, but crucially as well, this wonderful choir. Yes, you're going to be hearing a lot more from them, plus a big finale, so stick around for that. So get ready, Britain, here we go.
Yes, and I'm here in London in the studio holding the fort down here tonight. I'm also joined by Reform candidate for Epping Forest, Orla Minahane, and the former Labour advisor, Matthew Larzer. It's me in London, Patrick in Wales, you're in front of the telly. Let's go.
Get ready for an absolute showstopper next.
Patrick, thank you. The top stories. The Conservatives are vowing to fight the government's decision to delay new mayoral elections every step of the way. The votes, originally due next May in Essex, Norfolk and Suffolk, Hampshire and the Solent, and Sussex and Brighton have been pushed back to 2028. The government says local reorganisation isn't ready and the new regions must be set up properly to deliver the powers they've been promised. But opposition leader Kemi Badenoch calls it an attack on democracy, accusing the Labour Party of stalling because it fears the result.
This is yet another example of Labour not being ready for government. This reorganisation is taking too long. I've been a local government minister and there have been situations where you needed to postpone a year. So we'll have an extra year just so that we can be ready. This is now out of control. They need to have these elections. They should not be denying people democracy.
Nigel Farage says Reform UK would have won every mayoral election that Labour has delayed for 2 years.
Then there is, of course, one very big reason why these elections should not go ahead, and there's no prizes for guessing, but it is an electoral calculus put out their figures just a couple of hours ago that Reform would have won all 4 of these contests and would have won them quite comfortably.
The Prime Minister says the public inquiry into the death of Dawn Sturgis is clear that the moral responsibility lies with President Putin and provides further evidence of the shocking and reckless hostile activity on UK soil. The report today found the operation to poison double agent Sergei Skripal in Salisbury was authorised at the highest level. Russian military intelligence agents acted on direct instructions before recklessly discarding the perfume bottle that later killed Miss Sturgis. Investigators say her condition was unsurvivable after she unwittingly sprayed herself with the Novichok from the perfume bottle left by the Russian hit squad. Sir Keir Starmer says the inquiry shows the UK must remain vigilant to Russian threats.
It's very important that we put in the most stringent sanctions on the GRU for the first time, but it also reinforces why we need to remain vigilant to the ever-present threat that is there from Putin and from Russia. That's not just in Ukraine. In this case, the report is clear. It's on our soil. And here I am at Lossiemouth, where we've been discussing with personnel the work that they are doing to keep us safe from Russian threats, particularly in our waters.
Several countries have pulled out of next year's Eurovision Song Contest after Israel's participation was confirmed. Ireland, the Netherlands, Spain and Slovenia have announced they will boycott the singing competition after the General Assembly in Geneva today to discuss the future of the competition. Irish national broadcaster RTE said it will not broadcast or take part in the song contest, describing its participation as unconscionable given the appalling loss of lives in Gaza. Campaign groups have welcomed the decision by the broadcaster to withdraw. In a statement, the EBU said members had shown clear support for reforms to reinforce trust and protect neutrality. And those are the latest headlines for now. More from me in an hour.
Tune into GB News Radio wherever you are, online, on DAB digital radio, on TuneIn, on Radio Player and on your smart speaker. Just say, play GB News.
Good evening and welcome back to Merthyr Tydfil. I'm just going to set the scene for the people who are just joining us about exactly why we're here. We are obviously witnessing a political revolution of sorts in Britain. This has been a Labour stronghold for 100 years. The man who founded the Labour Party, Keir Hardie, was actually the MP here as well. Our current Prime Minister is named after him, for whatever that is worth. So we've got all of that going on here. But there is an 82% chance that Reform are going to take this seat. And it's seats like this that could swing the next election. I've come here to find out what's going on. They've lost a lot of industry. There was the Hoover factory that closed, 5,000 jobs when all the pits have closed. But there's also a sense of broken promises. And I'm joined here by Dart Supremo himself, Kerry Sen. Kerry, how are you? You okay?
Yeah, not bad, yeah.
Look, thank you very much. Now, you obviously play for this darts club. You also play in the Merthyr Super League, don't you?
Yeah.
How do you feel about the way that the country's going at the moment? Why has this die-hard Labour area decided to turn against Labour?
The problem I got with Labour, I think, not just Labour, but before as well, I think they're a bunch of cowards, in my opinion, yeah. If you go back to as far as the Thatcher years, yeah, I don't think she'd put up with this now. What we want is for them to man up, so to speak, you know what I mean? You've got all this, I can't swear, but all this thing going on in the country at the moment, immigration, this and the other.
Is immigration a big issue for you?
Oh, massive, massive. It's not just for me, you know, I'll be pushing daisies in 20 years' time, but it's for my grandkids. And the amount of what's happening at the moment, I think, you know, I want to look after my grandkids.
And just quickly on this, you actually were telling me you're in the military reserves, aren't you?
Yeah.
So you are still very proud of this country. You'd be willing to fight for this country, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, definitely. You can go around any one of my reservist friends anywhere, and we say, do you want to go and defend this country? And we say, yeah, 100%. But it's just like this government, like I said, this government and before, is make us in a bunch of cowards, whereas before, like, you go back to World War II, to Normandy and stuff like that, and
there's been a change. There's been a change. Well, I'll tell you what, we're hearing a lot of this from a lot of people. I'm going to go to a clip soon, but quickly, I want you to show us how good you are at darts. And then whilst I play this package, I'm going to practice, and then hopefully I'm going to beat you. Go on.
Yeah,
See
we'll
what
have a
score
go.
you get. See what score you get. Here we go. And now he did tell me as well that, by the way, his kids are watching, right? So no pressure. No pressure, Kerry. Come on, let's do it.
This is all for cup food, isn't it?
Let's do it. Come on. Oh, it's not a bad start. Go on, he's going to hit the treble here. All right, OK, what are we on here?
60.
60. I think I've got a chance of beating this. Now, let me play you this package here of an individual who's a small business owner. He's talking about the political situation as well. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to beat this guy at darts. Because this is all about meeting real people, isn't it? And we're going to go and meet a former small business owner who's called Les. He's retired a little while ago, owned a fish and chip shop, as well as a couple of ice cream vans in the local area. I want to find out from Les about what the mood is really like on the ground here. Why is this Labour stronghold potentially going to go reform? Les, how are you?
Okay.
Can I come in?
Yes, certainly.
Good. All right, brilliant. Well, look, follow us in. Thank you very much. Can we just come through and have a quick chat with you in your living room? Fantastic place you've got here, by the way. Thank you very much. Cheers for having us round. I believe that you've locked the dog up on our behalf, yes. so there we go. Well, look, thanks for having us round, Les. Look, our viewers and listeners want to know from you. This is a Labour stronghold. I mean, the founder of the Labour Party was in charge of this seat for a while. Why do you think it's changing, this political revolution?
Well, I think the new Labour government, I think they've dug an hole for themselves. Basically, the first policy they brought out was getting rid of the winter fuel allowance. That affected, I would say, 60 to 80% of Labour voters, because I believe Labour voters are 60 plus.
Okay.
So I think they've taken a lot of their support, wiped that out straight away, you know.
Okay.
And with the rise of the new party you got now, I think they're going to split the vote in Wales.
Right. Okay. And you're a business owner, so you've employed people. You know what that's like. You know all the stresses that can bring. How do you feel it would be like, you know, under this Labour government? We're a week on from the budget, aren't we? You know, if you were to look to set up a business here now, start again, as it were, do you feel like they're working for you as you would be a working person?
Well, if I was to start a business now, I think there'd be there's no confidence left in the towns, not only in Merthyr, throughout the valleys. They're so deprived now, and they've just been left. In this area, as you say, it's been a Labour stronghold, and I think they've let the people down. You know, I think they've left the people down badly.
And is that to do with the fact that the traditional industries here have gone? I mean, the pit closures. There was also a big factory here, I think, wasn't there? They employed a lot of people, and that's gone as well, I think.
Yeah, Hoovers was here. Yeah, all the big industrial units that were here have gone. But through past experience, you tend not to have the full support of your local councils. When you apply for things, they make it the red tape involved in just applying for a simple thing like opening a cafe or a factory, or you're trying to get a ski slope resort in the Merthyr. And I know the gentleman that's involved in that, and the amount of work involved going through the local councils, the Welsh office. And it seems as if they're putting up barriers against new investment all the time in the valleys.
Yeah, is Keir Starmer popular here as a man, do you think?
Well, I don't think so, but that's only my opinion. I've got no looks on him as a leader of the Labour Party. I think I think university boys, Eton boys in the Labour Party, it just doesn't work. I don't think they realise how ordinary people live.
Right.
I don't think they realise what the ordinary working man has to go through just to survive these days. You know, and no, I got no looks in, to be honest with you.
So we're going to, over the course of the day, we're going to be speaking to Labour voters, people who voted Labour all their lives as well, and no doubt we'll talk to some people, of course, who will make the case as to why areas like this need to stay Labour. But I imagine there's a lot of quite heated debates that go on in a place like this. So what are some of the main issues for people in Merthyr right now? What are some of the main issues?
Well, the biggest issue is unemployment, I should imagine. The housing situation. Also the influx now of the illegal immigrants. They move into the hotels and various places in Merthyr. The explosion of Turkish barbers, vape shops. There's nothing left in the high streets for people. There's nothing to entice people into the town centre of Merthyr.
So you've seen this area change?
Yes, definitely. You know, over the last 20 years, the decline. You know, the decline hasn't happened since Labour have come into government. The decline has been there for the last 20, 30 years. Yeah. And obviously with the Tory government, they didn't give two hoots about Wales anyway. So, but I thought this Labour government would have put more into our area because the Senate is Labour controlled anyway. So I thought we've had a boost when they came in a National Party, but it doesn't seem to be happening.
What could this Labour government do, in your mind now, to win someone like you back, to reverse what is the trend at the minute, which would suggest that Reform are going to win this? What would Labour have to do?
Well, I think they need to reconsider the working man. They need to consider the people that are struggling with mortgages, the people that are struggling to feed their children. You know, in this day and age, it's an absolute disgrace, the situation our country have got into. An absolute disgrace.
Okay, so maybe go back to some of their roots a little bit, I suppose would be the answer there, possibly.
Well, I think they've lost their roots.
Right.
I think they've lost their roots. Whether we'd ever go back to the days of the old Labour system, I doubt it. I know time moves on, I understand. Okay. But it's just, they just don't, well, the impression they give, they don't care. That's the impression, well, when they're interviewed on the television, and it's not only Labour, they're all the same. They cannot answer a question simply.
Well, I'm very glad that you have been able to answer a lot of my questions. That's fantastic. Thank you for having us round. I really appreciate it.
Very interesting stuff, isn't it? And I think there was something in there that really resonated with me when I speak to people out and about. 20 or 30 years of being forgotten. It's not just the last 18 months, it's the government before that, the government before that, and even maybe a little bit of the government before that. Matthew, I put this to you. This is a place in Wales that should, Wales is a traditionally Labour place, they should understand the people there. But I put it to you that Labour has become a London-centric party. And that is why, when this gentleman here was mentioning Eton boys, he says Labour doesn't work with Eton boys. Well, actually, as you know, there aren't any Eton boys.
There are no public school boys or women in the cabinet. It's the first ever cabinet in Britain where, like, 93+% of the British people, they all went to state schools.
But how many of them are City and London MPs?
Well, I mean, some of them are City and London MPs, for sure. But I think I'm not sure I agree with you, because right at the beginning we heard the chaps in the bar tell us that they were angry with what Labour was doing in Cardiff, and those politicians in Cardiff are just half an hour down the Valley Line in Cardiff Bay. So I think it's a difficult balance. But clearly, if the government is giving the impression that it's full of public school boys when it hasn't got a single public school boy in it, there's a mismatch between the reality and the comms. I'm not one who always blames comms, but in this case, it is a fact, and the perception is different.
Yeah. And I mean, look, this guy is saying the same thing that we are hearing up and down the country. What are the things that you're most upset about? Unemployment, cost of living, the migrant crisis, the high street, 20 or 30 years. So you're right, that's why people are going to vote Reform, because they have not been in power for the last 20, 30 years. It's a change, it's something new, and people would vote for anybody if it wasn't Labour and Conservative, frankly.
Yeah, do you know what it...
And I think that's why Plaid is also doing well in Wales. And we saw in the by-election.
Absolutely.
I think you're absolutely right. It's
doing well.
And the Greens are doing well in other parts of the country.
Because the establishment parties have forgotten that they serve the British people. The Tories did this when they were in government. How many elections can I count that in their manifesto, they promised immigration down to the tens of thousands, that they get immigration down. All it did was go up, 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 up. Time and time again, the public feel disappointed by this.
I don't disagree with you.
Labour and the Tories just taken the country for granted. And I'll just give you a quick quote.
Sure.
Keir Starmer, in a video that was done a couple of days ago, said he fears of the right in this country, but he did say something very interesting. He said that he would sleep well at night if the Tories were in power, but not if there was, quote, a right-wing government. Does that show you? Does that just speak to this whole establishment stitch-up?
I think it could be interpreted that way. I'm not sure that it actually does. I mean, clearly, Keir Starmer would regard the Tories as more moderate than Reform, and therefore he's saying he'd prefer, if you have to choose between the devil and the deep blue, say he'd make his choice of the blues and not the turquoise in that case. But I mean, look, I think there's a huge cynicism in politics. You two may not agree with me on this, but I think one of the things that did that was Brexit, because Brexit was based on promise after promise. It was based on 300 million for the NHS.
Rubbish.
That may be the argument, but Brexit, as it was promised by Boris Johnson and delivered by Boris Johnson, certainly massively added to that cynicism, because people were told they were going to get more for the NHS, they were going to get immigration right down.
And they would have had it been done properly.
I mean, I would argue not, but I mean, at least I think we could argue it hadn't been tried in the way that it was promised.
Correct,
okay.
I agree.
All right, listen, we're going to have to leave it there. I'd love to throw it straight back to Wales with the man, Patrick Christys. Patrick, back to you.
Right, OK, so you might remember before, Kerry through, was it 60?
Just 60, yeah.
Just 60. He did hit a 180 before, you might remember that. Anyway, I'm going to try and beat 60 now, so here we go. All right, let's see. No, rubbish. Oh, rubbish. No, sadly not. Not to me. Well, he's more than beating me now. I'm going to take those out of the boards quickly before anyone can see them at home. Anyway, look, we've got loads more coming your way, haven't we? So make sure that you stay tuned here. We've got more from the choir. We're also going to be hearing a lot about the core reason for me, apart from immigration, of course, about why Labour is really struggling in these parts. They say they're the party for the working class, but if people aren't working or the jobs go, well, who do they represent? That's next.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Martin Daubney, weekdays from 3 p.m.
Well, he went to Sandhurst and graduated, and then decided the Paras wanted him, so he decided to go Royal Artillery. And he loved being in the army. He loved the camaraderie, the spirit, everything else. And he had a great career ahead of him. Went to Iraq and Afghanistan, and came back, and everything was fine. We were so relieved as parents. And then the signs started to be there of PTSD. It was quite a while after he came back that they sort of manifested themselves, and everything went downhill after that. And it was a long fight for him to try and get help, but there was no help available. There was no one he could turn to. And in the end, my wife and I, we had to care for him, which was very, very difficult for all of us. And there, you know, he was with us for about 18 months, and then in the end he passed away. He had an enlarged heart. He was struggling very much with PTSD, so he turned to alcohol. But as most veterans do when they have this problem, and in the end he obviously passed away 8 years ago. And we had no help at the time, and we didn't have anybody giving us advice or where we could go. And I was with Nigel. I went to Combat to Coffee a few years ago with Nigel, and we got this. The author of the book, Rob Parker, presented this to us and sent it to me. And everything in here in this book was so true. And with us, it was like a manual for us, or a diary really, what was happening and what could happen.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk
No,
now?
that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Right, hello, welcome back to Merthyr Tydfil. It's nice to be here with some good salt of the earth people, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Who are you? And you're local, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm Robert and my wife Joanne. Actually, she's not local, she's from Malta.
Oh, really? Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Now, you're very concerned about the state of the country, aren't you, I think?
Yeah. What would be worse, could it?
What's been some of the big changes for you, some of the big issues for you, quickly?
Well, there's high taxes, big government, regulation, immigration.
Yeah.
You name it.
Well, you name it. Well, this is it. Another big issue, of course, is unfortunately the huge change in industry here. We had 90-something coal pits in and around this area. All of them have now closed. There's also the Hoover factory, which used to employ 5,000 people. That has also closed. It's actually set for demolition, and that's where I went earlier today. A week on from that Labour budget, we're about 18 months into a Labour government now. Now, where I am currently standing is really the birthplace of the modern Labour Party. Keir Hardie, the man that Sir Keir Starmer is named after, was the MP for the local area. He was the first Labour MP in Wales. He founded the Labour Party. You get the scene that I've set for you here. Well, you just mentioned the latest polls. It looks like Reform could win. There's obviously issues as well when it comes to Plaid. Now, over the course of the day, we've been speaking to farmers, rural area. How have they been affected by this Labour government? Small business owners we've been speaking to as well. What we're about to find out is about the loss of those traditional working class jobs. Behind me, you'll see the Hoover building. Used to employ 5,000 people. Closed for good. In fact, they are clearing it, ready for demolition. All of these areas around me now used to be coal pits. Every single one has closed. The last one closed in 2023. Tens of thousands of people no longer have jobs there. Joined now by Jason O'Connell, who is a Reform councillor here. Thank you very much. Would you mind just explaining the significance of where we are here, really, and when it comes to the industry and work around this area?
Yeah, absolutely. This building behind us was it was a crown and the jewel of Merthyr back in the day. It employed 5,000 people. So it's not just about that headline figure either. There's a whole economy that sits outside that 5,000. It employed people. They had sports teams, they had social events, so it was a really big deal back in the day. And sadly now it just stands as a bit of a monument to Labour's failure in government.
Well, I know that the Welsh Labour government was very keen to turn the entirety of Wales into a country of sanctuary, spend a lot on things like asylum policies and immigration policies, etc. What do you make of that, and has that had an impact in the area?
Well, value-wise, not particularly. It's 55 million over a 4-year period, so the value isn't a lot, but what it does do is puts a big neon sign over the country saying, come on in, you know, we want to welcome all and sundry, and we've seen that impact our communities without question.
I mean, the difference there is quite stark. We've got a factory that used to employ 5,000 people, has shut down forever. All of the pits around here are shut, and yet the local government, of course, is starting to put money into things like that. The big challenge to Reform here is probably not going to be Labour, it's going to be Plaid. We saw it in Caerphilly, didn't we? So how do you fight off Plaid?
Well, Plaid are, they're being rather cunning at the moment. They are absolutely wolves in sheep's clothing. They're not talking about their raison d'etre, which is independence, which will saddle each and every household with £7,000. And that £7,000 has got to be found in either tax cuts or tax rises or business cuts. So they're not talking about that. What they're talking about at the moment is trying to distance themselves from Labour, and they need to own the state of Wales in its current form as much as anybody else. They've propped that government up a number of occasions over the last 26 years. They've got to own this, and they're trying their best to walk back from it.
But just a final question for you, and it's a bit of a personal one, this. I suppose it's a kind of man-to-man question, really, which is that, you know, I think a lot of blokes, especially in areas like this, get a lot of pride out of work. They get a lot of pride and personal value and self-satisfaction and self-meaning out of going and doing a hard day's graft. Yep. What impact does it have when you remove that from an area?
Well, I think it absolutely contributes to the crisis we've seen in mental health. There are various community action groups that have done a good job in trying to raise awareness, but it's fundamental for certainly a man and a family to come together and have a job that they can go to bring home money to support that family. And it's an absolutely core function of what we believe in Reform. Family, community, country, that family comes first, and work is a very, very important part of that. Giving somebody purpose, I think, is a hugely significant step in somebody's life.
All right. Well, there you have it, don't you? It seems to me, I've got my panel with me, Orla and Matthew here. It seems to me that this is a common theme around parts of the country that aren't near those big cities, that they're left behind. Wales is sort of the epitome of those places, isn't it? Because it relied so much on heavy industry before, and post that transition is really still struggling to this day to pick up where it's...
The whole of the South Wales, basically, economically and in terms of the population, grew on the back of heavy industry, particularly mining. I was in Cardiff a little earlier in the year at an exhibition about the miners' strike, and as I walked into people behind me, went, "There's my nan on the wall." It's such interweaved into how those communities feel. So, of course, understandably, people feel, a big loss of that sense of purpose. However, new jobs are being created. The Hoover factory is going to become partly housing and partly, a business park to incubate new businesses. And the big thing that Labour's doing in South Wales is this new metro system to connect people across the valleys. If there are more white-collar jobs in Cardiff, people in Merthyr should be able to do them just as people commute in London.
What people really care about, the last Tory government, cut taxes on average, £700 back in the pockets of Welsh workers and income tax reductions, growth deals there, the free ports, offshore wind, levelling up. These are the sorts of things that Welsh people want. They want growth. They don't just want to live off the nanny state.
Absolutely.
They're proud people.
No, absolutely. And Merthyr actually has one of the highest, if not the highest, number of benefit claimants. One of Labour's missions is to get people off welfare into work. You said about... It is. Absolutely. I will come back at the end because that's only part of the story. That's only part of the story. No, go on, Orla. I've been talking.
The party that are literally throwing out benefits like sweeties. This is absolutely ridiculous. The problem is with towns in Wales and rural towns, they need industry they need investment. That is what they need. With investment, there are jobs. When there are jobs, the social fabric changes. I bet they've got a terrible problem with youth, which then brings in drugs and antisocial behaviour, etc., etc. So the whole fabric of the community is completely destroyed. The only way that you can bring back, which is what happened after the miners. We need industry, we need growth, we need businesses to invest in places like Wales. The people are there, they want to work, they want a purpose, give it to them.
Yeah.
We can't do that if people aren't investing in this country.
Yeah, Matthew, what do you make of that? I mean, I think the Tories did a better job than Labour's doing while they were in government. You'd think that the Labour Party would want to incentivise growth. It's gone backwards, hasn't it? A minute ago, what you said something, I think...
No, we've got the highest growth in the G7.
They'll be laughing.
No, look, I can understand. Look, the biggest problem the government faces is that it has to do a lot of big things, and it is only 18 months into the government. It will be tested at the end of 5 years on a UK basis whether it's achieved those. If more people aren't off welfare and into work, voters will punish the government. The problem is if you're sitting in Cardiff Bay or well, obviously not in power in Scotland, but that people are discontent with the national government, and then that plays their part.
Okie dokie. Well, let's get back to talking to real people, shall we? Let's throw it straight back to Patrick Christys in Wales. Patrick, over to you.
Yes, absolutely. Well, very shortly, I'm hoping that someone's going to let me have a go at this pool table. He's ducking out of the way here. I'm going to get him now anyway. Come on. But I also want to find out, from these people over here, what's it been like to actually live under a Labour government for so many years? They've got more experience than the rest of the UK, haven't they? But let's go now to the Pontypridd Male Choir, who have a special surprise for us right at the end of the show. But this is just something to warm you up.
Be nice to escape the grey.
Clear skies, here we come.
As clear as our travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Heavy rain and strong winds across the eastern end of the Mediterranean, bringing some pretty heavy downpours across parts of Greece in particular during Friday, but also southern parts of Turkey with those gusty winds. Showers again for southern Italy, particularly for Sardinia and Sicily. The east coast of Spain and the Balearics looking largely dry and fine on Friday. And plenty of sunshine across the Canaries. That will continue as we head through the weekend, and things should calm down in Greece during the weekend as well.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello again and welcome to the latest update from the Met Office for GB News. Rain clearing during the next 24 hours. Showers still remaining in some western areas, but clear spells for many. And under those clear skies, patches of frost and fog will form overnight. We're in a gap between weather systems. This weather front turning up later in the day on Friday will bring some wet weather, and Thursday's wet weather is clearing into the far northeast of the UK, the rain turning more showery. That means in between, clear spells overnight, and under those clear skies with light winds in places, we will see some frost and fog, particularly through parts of the Midlands and southeast England. Those fog patches slow to clear through the morning on Friday, could be tricky on the roads first thing. There'll be showers continuing in the west. That means generally frost-free in the west first thing, but elsewhere, decent sunny spells away from those dense freezing fog patches around the southeast of England. Into the northwest of England, and we've got showers and patchy cloud. Likewise across Scotland, a thicker area of cloud covering much of Aberdeenshire into parts of Caithness, for example, with plenty of showery rain associated with this. That is accompanied by stronger winds, but winds will be lighter through eastern parts of the UK during the day, with plenty of sunny spells. Not too bad at all, but further west, the weather deteriorates once more. The next Atlantic frontal system moving in, bringing wet and windy weather by the afternoon, particularly for Northern Ireland, Wales and the southwest. Strengthening winds, coastal gales, and that sweeps through overnight. Again, replaced by plenty of showers and gusty winds, particularly around southern and southwestern coasts. These showers will be heavy and prolonged in places. A very unsettled outlook for the start of the weekend. It doesn't get much better. For Sunday, another band of rain moves through, once again replaced by showers, and low pressure remains in charge for the start of next week.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
They said it couldn't be done. There we go. Right, now, the people of Wales have a very unique experience. They know what it's like to live under a Labour government for a very, very long time. So let's find out what that's like. Welcome back to the show. So, OK, guys, it's been more than 25 years that you've had a Labour government in Wales. What's it done for you? What have been some of the standard? People bang on about 20-mile-an-hour speed limits. Is that true? Is it just 20 miles an hour pretty much everywhere?
Well, it's a lot more than that. They don't listen to us, they don't talk to us. And Plaid and Labour have got together for the last 25, 30 years and just did what they want. I mean, only recently have we learned what this country of sanctuary means. We weren't aware that was going on.
Right. Now, this is important. What is the country of sanctuary? Some of my viewers and listeners will know, but what is this country of sanctuary business?
Well, it's for asylum seekers and refugees. Essentially, there's about 16 points in there that put them in front of ordinary people. They will have mortgages before my daughter will. They will have leisure services before my son will. They will have healthcare before my grandmother will. They're in front of the list. And financially, it's killing us. Where that money going? They talk about putting money into health. What about our people? This is crazy.
Okay.
And it's just not fair. It's not right.
Okay, so I'll move it on down the line. Thank you, sir. So this country of sanctuary thing, the 20-mile-an-hour speed limits, those are tropes of the Labour government. Do you think they've been just entirely too woke?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, the wokeness is absolutely terrible. You know, we've got to get away from all that, which is why we go with reform, because it's common sense, going back to normality. I mean, you've got when the Nicola Sturgeon thing was going on, the debacle with the trans thing, you know, basically a biological male in a women's...
Can I ask you about that? Because, you know, you were, for reference as well, for everyone who's watching this at home, you were a Labour voter, weren't you? So you voted Labour, and when it comes to the gender stuff, how do you feel about that, then?
Yeah, I feel very strongly about that. In Ireland now, there's a man, Enoch Burke, who's been in jail for over 500 days because he won't say they instead of he or she or whatever it is. Yeah. And they're coming down hard on him, like, and this is wrong, you know? Biological sex.
Is that stuff happening in Wales, though? You said it's in Ireland.
I don't know if it's as bad as that in Wales,
no.
But it's sort of coming down the line.
Because this is... When I think about a traditional working-class area, really, a dyed-in-the-wool Labour area, you know, I don't tend to think of people who, you know, think that there's 15 genders. I don't tend to think about people who think that we are necessarily a country of sanctuary and that everyone from all over the world should be able to come in. Do you think that indicates that there's been a lack of priorities here, that they've lost their way in terms of their priorities?
Well, the nature of it is very much centred around Cardiff. You know, the world revolves around Cardiff. They say that the fish don't swing upstream. They don't come up to us. They don't understand the way we live, the way Welsh Valleys people are. Right. We're welcoming people. This is a nation that's taken on immigrants for decades, but those immigrants have integrated, they've contributed, and they've made the place better. I'm Irish stock. There's Italians, there's Polish, Portuguese from all over in Merthyr Tydfil. This place has got talent, and they don't let it grow. We've got one of the biggest projects coming here, the Rita Car West. A huge ski slope is coming here. Jobs. They're not even thinking about those jobs. They should be getting those school kids ready now for the work that's coming. There's no vision, there's no dynamism, there's no leadership. We need a change. We want reform, and we want Nigel and the team here.
OK. Is there a sense, do you think, that potentially Labour got a bit complacent here? That they always thought that this was their safest area, if not actually probably their safest seat? And it turns out that there is an 82% chance this could go reform. Now, I will just say with that, we all saw what happened in Caerphilly, where the polling data didn't quite match up with reality. Plaid ultimately got in. I think it's realistic to expect that we're going to end up with people doing some of these coalitions. You might see a lot of the parties on the left voting together just to stop reform. So we don't know what's going to happen. But do you think they took you for granted here?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there was people used to say if we put Rosette on a donkey, you know, and he was Labour, people would vote for Labour, you know. And Kevin could tell you stories about people voted for people that had done very bad things, you know, and they still voted them in. So, but that's changing, you know. It's a 100-year change.
What about net zero? This is one thing that I think, because the last pit here closed in 2023. There used to be hundreds of thousands of people around this area that were employed in pits, and that all went. Right? And part of that, not all obviously, but part of it in recent times is gone because of a push for net zero, hasn't it?
Well, the coal is still here. The iron is still here. The steel is here. We still got all that stuff. They took away the infrastructure. When you took away that in the 80s, what you took away was the corner shop, the butchers, the working men's club. You took all that away, that infrastructure, and they never replaced it. They never did anything about it.
All right. Look, it's been great to hear from you. Thank you very much. No, it really is. And I know a lot of our viewers and listeners will have got a lot out of it. I'm going to go back to Paddington now. And I will just say as well, we have got a big finale for you here. But Alex, go on, over to you. I think the sense there really is that they feel left behind, they feel forgotten. But that net zero angle, I think, is quite good. They could have thousands of jobs here if it wasn't for net zero.
Totally agree, Patrick. Well, let's find out what our Labour man, Matthew Larser, thinks about that. Net zero crippling Wales, a place of industry. You see the gentleman there, we got the coal is still there, isn't it? Still available. We could open it up. We could do what China is doing. They're opening up every time we close one down, they put 7 up.
Look, I mean, you know, the coal industry and the miners were absolutely are the founders of the party that I've been a member of for nigh on more than 30 years. So of course I can understand the real the emotion that it gets. But the truth of the matter is, almost all of the coal industry was closed before net zero was even thought of. And there are things like there's a new nuclear power station going in North Wales. We need to make sure that all of Wales and all of Britain benefits from the next generation of technologies, and that is going to take a lot of work.
Well, yeah, and a lot of money, and then a lot of our money as well, Waller. That's the problem with net zero, isn't it? The taxpayer is constantly feeling the pinch on it. Not only are we taxed on it, but also then when our energy bills are costing money. Ed Miliband promised our bills would be down by 300 quid. They're actually going up, aren't they?
They're absolutely outrageous. And look, the thing is, can you imagine being these people in Wales sitting there knowing that you've got an industry that could be up and running, giving people jobs, giving people their pride back, giving them hope, and it's sitting there and nobody is doing anything about it, and they're just bleating on about net zero, which is proving to be an absolute farce in many people's opinion. So they're just sitting there and they're furious. They're furious that they're being ignored, and they could be making a living. The whole thing could be turned around so easily. It must be awful for them.
Can I ask you, Orla, why do you think Nigel Farage is popular in a place like Wales? Because, by all accounts, he really shouldn't be that popular in a place like Wales, should he?
I think what Nigel represents hope. That's what it is. He represents hope. He's come in. He's new. He's anti-migration. He's very much. We want Britain to be for the British. We want we want industry. We want employment. We want to make people's lives better. We want to work for the British people. And people like that are sitting there thinking Nigel is the only hope that we've got.
Okay. I mean, look, I don't actually disagree with you. I think that that Nigel is seeing people as offering hope. I could argue that the detail might not deliver that hope, but the key thing about politics is momentum.
Absolutely.
And people think he's got. And it's extraordinary that we've seen some of the lads there saying that they want Nigel and the team here, when another one of them was complaining about public school boys, and of course Nigel is actually quite posh, a lot posher than Keir Starmer. Yeah. But that's outweighed by the fact that people see that positivity. Yeah. So I'd say to my Labour colleagues, you've got to be for things, you've got to be positive, you've got to show a vision of a future, and you've got to say to people, even if it's a difficult message, you've got to give them a difficult message on one hand, and you've got to show positive things on the other.
We say Nigel Farage is new. He's not. He's actually probably, not in terms of Parliament, but in terms of politics, he's the longest-serving politician that I can remember in Parliament today. He's been around for decades, really. UKIP all the way back when.
But then I don't think that he would have been so prevalent as he is now.
And on a national rather than just about Europe.
And in Wales. So these people are sitting there. Okay. For them, he's new. He's a new option.
I think until the referendum, he was all about Europe and all about having a referendum.
Yeah.
Yes. After that, he's become a new face.
There we go. All right, listen. More Patrick in Wales coming up, but let's have a little bit more of that lovely choir, shall we?
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Well, I think after the first incident, obviously, I became hyper aware of how men can behave in London. But since sharing my story in February, I've had hundreds of women come forward and tell me their stories. It was actually so overwhelming, the amount of people that reached out to me and said, thank you for sharing your story, thank you for talking about it, because this had happened to me and that had happened to me. And I think also because I became aware of it, I don't know whether I started to see it, whether it was rising, but what I do know is that the amount of incidents happening are not the amount of incidents being reported
One of the controversial issues, Genevieve, here in America is that in certain states, President Trump has put the National Guard on the streets. They have it here in Washington, D.C., and these are kind of volunteer soldiers, if you like. You can see some pictures here, so that's me there with them, and that's Ben Leo, our other host, and you just have groups of them. They're in groups of sort of 3, 4, 5 sometimes on the street corners. We were coming back from a soccer match, football match, I've been here too long, that evening, and you feel safe because they are a very clear presence on the street. Do you think we should have something similar in London?
Yeah, I mean, if there were repercussions and men thought that they were going to be caught and that there were going to be witnesses and that they were going to be held accountable, that would decrease the rate of these kind of attacks happening, because you're going to weigh up whether it's worth it, aren't you, as a
of course.
person.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Join me, Nana Okoye, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed this experience of Merthyr Tydfil as much as I have. We have got a very special grand finale coming your way, but I just thought, why not just recap the day so far? It's been quite a long day, may I say, and I would just like to say a big thank you to all of my wonderful team who've worked incredibly hard to make this happen. Here is a little recap of how the day started and what led us to this moment now. Bit of an early start for me here. It's just coming up to 7:15 in the morning. We've got a very long but very important journey ahead of us. I'm going to go and spend the day in Wales, specifically Merthyr Tydfil. Now, there are some vital reasons why we're spending the day and the evening there, but I'm going to tell you what they are when I get on the train. I better get going now, because otherwise I'll miss it.
And we're off. Well, let me tell you why. We are going to Merthyr Tydfil in Wales. We're a week on from the Labour budget. We're roughly 18 months into a Labour government. Now, Merthyr Tydfil is a traditional working class area. In fact, it's been a Labour stronghold for more than 100 years. I'm going to spend the day speaking to factory workers, business owners. I'm going to speak to people down the pub. I'm going to check in with how some of the farmers are doing as well. People who voted Labour all their lives, and I want to see how they're feeling.
Les, how are you? Okay. Can I come in?
Yes, certainly.
Good. All right, brilliant. Tell you what, very glad to have met you. I'll let you get back. Your breakfast's going cold now. Sorry, mate. All right, take care. We've stopped off at the Albion Cafe. Wonderful little place. We've had 4 breakfasts and a couple of coffees as well for less than 20 quid. So we're a long way from London, aren't we? I'm just tucking into a sausage and bacon butty, and we are on our way now to a farm. Seriously, I know all of our viewers and listeners are full square behind the farming community, and I just want to thank you for everything that you do, because at the end of the day, if it wasn't for people like yourselves, we wouldn't be fed and watered, would we? So thank you very much, mate. You know, there are people out there who do appreciate you.
No, and it's good, isn't it? To be fair, like, the government have got some things right. They have started spending money now on the armed forces, which would have been left behind, isn't it? But I think we need farmers as well. We need to feed and protect our country, don't we? It's just 2 big things now.
Well, we've done the farm, we've done the factories, we've done all sorts, and this is going to be our venue tonight. We're arriving here now at the Penny Darren Social Club. Well, I would just like to say a massive thank you to the people of Merthyr Tydfil, also, just more broadly really, the people of Wales for being so welcoming. Every single morning on GB News, we start the show with God Save the King, the national anthem. But I think it's probably only fitting if we finish this show with Merrin and the Pontypridd Male Choir singing the Welsh national anthem. Take it away.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello again and welcome to the latest update from the Met Office for GB News. Rain clearing during the next 24 hours. Showers still remaining in some western areas, but clear spells for many. And under those clear skies, patches of frost and fog will form overnight. We're in a gap between weather systems. This weather front turning up later in the day on Friday will bring some wet weather. And Thursday's wet weather is clearing into the far northeast of the UK, the rain turning more showery. That means in between, clear spells overnight. And under those clear skies with light winds in places, we will see some frost and fog, particularly through parts of the Midlands and southeast England. Those fog patches slow to clear through the morning on Friday, could be tricky on the roads first thing. There'll be showers continuing in the west. That means generally frost-free in the west first thing, but elsewhere, decent sunny spells away from those dense freezing fog patches around the southeast of England. Into the northwest of England, and we've got showers and patchy cloud. Likewise across Scotland, a thicker area of cloud covering much of Aberdeenshire into parts of Caithness, for example, with plenty of showery rain associated with this. That is accompanied by stronger winds, but winds will be lighter through eastern parts of the UK during the day, with plenty of sunny spells. Not too bad at all, but further west, the weather deteriorates once more. The next Atlantic frontal system moving in, bringing wet and windy weather by the afternoon, particularly for Northern Ireland, Wales and the southwest. Strengthening winds, coastal gales, and that sweeps through overnight. Again, replaced by plenty of showers and gusty winds, particularly around southern and southwestern coasts. These showers will be heavy and prolonged in places. A very unsettled outlook for the start of the weekend. It doesn't get much better. For Sunday, another band of rain moves through, once again replaced by showers, and low pressure remains in charge for the start of next week.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Right, I am going to bring you tomorrow's papers tonight. David Lammy has broken ranks on Brexit. Is that plot to overturn the biggest democratic vote in British history underway, like I told you it would be? Also, the Eurovision, more countries are dropping out because Israel is allowed to compete. Might actually win it this year. Who knows? It cocould be a silver lining for all of us, eh? And those energy bills that have been pledged time and time and time again to come down, even in the last budget, well, it looks like that plot, that promise, might also have been a little bit misleading. All of that next.
It's the big one. Your chance to win a whopping £85,000 in tax-free cash. The largest cash prize we've given away to date. That's like over £7,000 a month extra in your bank account each month for 12 whole months. That's a year of yes. Yes to holidays, yes to treats, yes to shopping trips, yes to home improvements. For a chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 869.